So guys, it's a new season for us. It's our second June of Vanarama National. We've made a lot of new signings. Let's take a look at who we've brought in and get this season started. Welcome back then guys to the Stones Rolling On Up and to now episode 28 of the series. It is of course, as I say, our second year now in the Vanarama National. It's the beginning of what is now season 3 of the entire series. And of course we just about missed out on playoffs last year. So we have essentially consolidated ourselves in the league and are going to go again for this time around to see if we can push on to either playoffs or possibly higher this time around. As a result, of course, as I said in the previous episode when we did our end of season roundup and played the FA Trophy final, that I have gone about and made quite a few signings. I have still got a few more in the works at the moment. The transfer window is still open. So I'll run through with you in a moment who we've already brought in. And of course, if throughout the next few episodes, if I bring anyone else in, of course, I'll run through all those new signings as well. We've had a pretty good pre-season and pretty good transfer window overall, I'll be honest with you. And I'm very pleased with who we've brought in. Obviously, we're on the home screen at the moment, so we'll go straight into the transfer roundup and straight into who we have signed. So if we go on to our transfers, you can see at the moment I've got a few more in the works at the moment. I'll show you who they are, or go through with you in a moment who they are anyway. In terms of our actual signings, we've currently made 5 currently. We've also agreed a 6th as well. We've also had a few outs. Currently, we've managed to get Lewis Knight, Ronan Hurley, and one of our youngsters, Jonathan Spark, out on loan. After how poorly Ronan Hurley was playing towards the end of the season last year, I've got him out off the books. He's gone to Gateshead along with Lewis Knight, who didn't play for any of the second half of last season. So he's out on loan as well. I've sold Bryce Natambury. As we went with only a 2-man central midfield, we didn't need an extra player in that midfield, and he was on quite a lot of money. So I shipped him out for about £5,000, got him off the wage bill. So I thought that was a good decision there. And then, as I say, we've also loaned out Jonathan Spark, who's one of our young up-and-coming players, quite possibly. So hopefully he can go out there and maybe get some experience. But in terms of the signings, though, I'll go from top to bottom. Our first signing is Danny Preston, who is going to be our new left-back, left wing-back. Signed him from Nottingham Forest. He's a very good young player. He looked really decent, very well-rounded for that left-back and left wing-back role. Of course, I say he's going to be playing the left wing-back, probably a left wing-back on support role. So he has got all the attributes there to play it. He's better than Chezers. I'm going to keep Chezers as a backup, and as I say, Ronan Hurley's gone out anyway. Probably won't ever see him again for the club, considering how annoyed I was with him towards the end of last year. So Danny here will become our first choice at left back. He's not on too much money either. He's only on £1,000 a week, which is nowhere near our highest paid player. So I was pretty pleased with that pick up there. Next on the list is Matthew Smith. And Maddie boy here, I think he's kind of the pick of the bunch. Of course, we've already got Alfie Payne, who plays that deep line playmaker role. And we were playing the Belgian in a box-to-box role on the right side of midfield. I have now decided, having brought in Matthew Smith here, he is going to play box-to-box currently. I may change it up and put him as a Mazzala or an advanced playmaker, but currently he's going to play as a box-to-box. He has all the attributes there to play there. The only thing he's kind of lacking is his finishing, which I am training him in, but it's not the end of the world. You know, you don't get huge amounts of goals only from box-to-box players. So hopefully here, he can come in and do a really good job. He's not, again, on a huge amount of money. I'm on about £1,200 a week. And as he's one of our best players at the club, I think that's quite a good amount to have him on, to be totally honest. He signed from Arsenal. He's a very young player and he's got a lot of potential. He's already rated at 4 stars with a possible of being even better. If we look at his actual scout report, they reckon he could possibly become a championship level player. So he could easily be a player who comes with us up the leagues if we do well. So I'm really pleased with his pickup. Either him and Alfie Payne could be that midfield pair for quite a while for us, because Alfie's only 21 and Matthew's only 20. So again, very good signing there, I think, with Matthew Smith. Next on the list is Mark McGuinness, who is going to be one of our new centre-backs. He is absolutely massive. He has 20 jumping reach, which you don't see very often, and I really like the look of him. He's really, really good in the air, so I'm hoping I can set him to be kind of our target for whenever we hit any corners and things on those and free kicks into the box, because he is enormous, and he's quite a good centre-back as well. He is probably about as good as what Stefan O'Connor is. Isn't as quick, but he's probably better defensively, in my opinion. And he is just very much an out-and-out centre-back, is Mark here. He is right-footed, so currently all of our centre-backs are all right-footed, which I don't really like. I am trying to possibly sign another centre-back in Dion Sanderson, who I'll show you in a moment, so hoping he can come in. But Mark here is a really good option. He's only on £900 a week as well, so very, very cheap. Annoyingly, I couldn't convince George Elokobi to stay on. I really was tempted to actually extend his contract by a year, just to keep him as a backup, and because he was the captain, just keep him for his experience. He didn't want to. He did retire, so I at least wanted to try and bring him as a coach, but he wanted way too much money. So unfortunately, George Elokobi is gone, rather annoyingly. I did want to keep him, but I just couldn't convince him. But Mark here should become a very good player for us and can slot in there. We have also still got Ross Marshall. So currently our 4 centre-backs that we have on the books are Mark McGuinness here. We've got Oliver Denham, we've got Stephen O'Connor, and we've also got Ross Marshall. And so I'm looking for at least 1, maybe 2 more. Going to have to wait and see quite what happens. Next on the list, though, is a returning face. It is the one and only Charlie Seaman. He has come back to the club. He's currently annoyingly injured, but we've brought him back. He's on very, very cheap wages, on £500 a week, and he is coming in just as a backup option. I decided in the end to stick with Joel Senior. I spent ages looking for a right back, and in the end I didn't really find anyone who I thought was much better and didn't want huge wages, because every right back I found was after like 2.5 grand. So I was like, it's just not worth it. I'll just keep Joel. I'm training him to now be a right wing back. He is learning the position slowly, and I thought it made sense to bring in Charlie Seaman. He already knows the club, he doesn't want huge wages, and he can play that role if we need him to. So he's a very good option there. And it just means that we can have lots of Seaman on the pitch, basically, of course. So the old jokes can come back. I'm sure everyone's looking forward to those. I can only imagine. But yeah, Charlie is a decent option for us regardless. He obviously spent the first year with us, did a very good job in that first year, and then he can slot back in this year around and hopefully have a good year with us once more. Last on the list in terms of signings which we've confirmed is James Berry, who is just a young up-and-coming striker, just going to come in as probably a second or third choice option. Very, very cheap wages, £400 a week. Signed from Hull, I believe. Or was it Curzon Ashton, actually? Oh no, it was Curzon Ashton. He was actually out permanently last year. So he managed to score 16 goals in the league below. So hopefully if we need him come this season, he can do a job for us in the Vanarama National. Of course, Jamie Thomas is going to be the first choice. I've brought Ibiad Canby back after his loan spell, and we've also got James, so we can alternate the 3 of those and see quite how they get on. But the aim is to have Jamie Thomas as the out-and-out striker throughout the season. The final signing that we have made, or at least confirmed currently, is Stephen Kinsella. Of course, the proverbial loan player who's been on loan with us since the beginning of the save. I've actually now agreed with him a permanent contract. He'll be permanently joining us at the end of December. So he will be joining us, and not on a huge amount of wages either. It's only about £350 a week, so I'm pretty pleased with that. So of course, Stephen will be staying with us, so it just keeps us with a little bit of extra depth. And a player who has played quite a lot of games for us. He's played 73 league games for us over 2 years, so to have him here permanently is always good, I think. Now, of course, I did want to sign a left winger. That was kind of one of the main areas I wanted to improve on. And I've had a few players that I've gone for, and either they've rejected me, they've wanted too much money, or they just haven't been good enough. And I went for one in Stephen Dooley here, who I thought could be a good option, but he wanted stupid money, and he's not actually as good as what I was after anyway. He's probably about as similar to Dan Wishart anyway, so in the end I kind of pulled out of that deal and left Stephen as it was. The one I want and that I'm currently trying to convince to join is Nathan Broadhead here. He was on trial with us for a little while, for about 4 or 6 weeks at the beginning of this pre-season, and then he decided that he was too good for us and then wouldn't re-sign on trial, and he wouldn't talk to me in terms of contracts. He now is willing to actually talk to me about contract, but he's after a bit too much money, so I'm hoping to get him on trial to try and lower his demands slightly. As you can see, he's really, really good. He'll come into that left side as an inverted winger or an inside forward and do a really good job, I think, and he can also play up front or play on the right. So to have him come in would be really, really good. He last year played at Rochdale and played 16 games in League One, which kind of shows you how good he actually is. So if I can get him to join, it will be a massive coup, and I'd love it if we can. I'm not sure if we will be able to convince him, but he's been a free transfer now for about 2 months, and no one else is interested in him at the moment. So hopefully I can convince him to join, but he's going to be very much a possible option. If he doesn't, I'll just stick with Dan Wishart for this season and just keep an eye out, because I'm not just going to get someone for the sake of getting someone. because I don't think it's worth it. There's no point paying someone just to sit on the bench like I did with Max Harrop last year. So I'm not going to make that mistake again this year. The final player I'm trying to bring in currently anyway is Dion Sanderson, who is the young centre-back and right-back who currently, I think he more likely plays or has played for Cardiff. He is a Wolves player who I think was on loan. In the game, he's not rated anywhere nearly as highly as he actually is in real life. I've seen him play quite a few times for Cardiff this year, and he was very, very decent. Whereas in the game, he's not rated that well. He's probably a League 2 player at best at the moment. So I have submitted the contract with him, and he has accepted it in principle. So hopefully he may accept over the next few days, quite possibly. He's really, really good for this level, and he's quite quick. So he can come in and play the defensive role, and he can also play the centre-back cover role as well if needs be. So I would like to get him in if at all possible. The final area I am, of course, still looking to improve is goalkeeper. You would have seen I haven't managed to sign one as of yet. So currently the only keeper we obviously still have is Julie Andrews because Jake Cole retired. I am, though, trying to sign Joe Day, who is the former Newport goalkeeper from a few years back. He was at Cardiff and Wimbledon most recently. And he's who my main target is for in net. He was after way too much money. He was after like $2.5 grand, but he is slowly lowering his demands. So I'm just waiting to offer him a new contract. I think at the moment it won't let me do it. Yeah, you see, he doesn't want to talk to me at the moment after the breakdown in contract talks. So we'll see if I can convince him to join. But that kind of wraps up all of our signings currently and our possible signings. There may still be a few more because the Vanarama National kind of transfer window doesn't really close for free transfers. So I'll keep an eye out and see who else I can sign. But overall, I'm really, really pleased with who we've picked up. And primarily because of the fact that in the league, as a result of who we signed, the season preview has got us really highly rated. If we go on to the preview, you can see we're currently rated as finishing in 4th place. I think that's probably a bit optimistic, especially as we're still missing 1 or 2 players. I think if we manage to get Nathan Broadhead and Sanderson in and possibly Joe Day in net, then yeah, definitely, I think we can definitely be up in those top 3-4 spots. I think the squad we have got is definitely capable of hitting the playoffs this year. I really do. I think we've made really strengthened, especially at the back. So I think we do have a chance. We'll have to see, obviously, how we perform. I am hopeful. And we have our first game here ready to play today. And it is away at Torquay. Torquay, who last year finished in 6th. So they were in the playoffs. I think they lost in the first playoff round anyway. But they did get in the playoffs. So they are going to be a tough test for us today. So I'll run through who we've got in our terms of our tactics for the match today. So for our team selection, we're going very, very strongly. We're going as strongly as we can do. We're going with Julie in net. Of course, she is the only goalkeeper we have currently at the squad. We've got Stefan O'Connor at the right centre-back role with Oliver Denham and the newly signed Mark McGuinness in the other centre-back role. We've got Joel Senior at the right wing-back. Danny Preston, newly signed at left wing-back. We've then got Maddie Smith and Alfie Payne in the centre of midfield. And a Malazor on the right, Wishart on the left, and of course Jamie Thomas up front. So a very, very strong squad. One that I'm really looking forward to seeing how we perform with today. I am confident we can get a good performance here. I am very hopeful that we can try and get a win. We are away at Torquay, but if we are going to push for the top end of the table, we need to be winning games like these. So let's get into this game. So let's submit our side then, and we'll see how Torquay line up for our first game of the season here. We are away at Plainmoor. They are also going a 5 at the back. They're going a 5-2-1-2. So we'll have to see if that attacking midfielder kind of break us down quite easily or not, and whether or not us having the extra width and so on can help out. It's difficult to kind of predict how 2 formations like this will play off against each other, but hopefully we can do well. Just going to say to them to come on, lads, and I have faith in them and so on. So of course we're in the purple. We are away, as I've said. So hopefully we can get a good performance to start the season with. I definitely do not want to lose. I'm going to swap this back to the league table now that we don't need the latest scores up anymore. But hopefully we just have a good start and can get off to a good kind of beginning, get some form going. Hopefully get Jamie Thomas in the goals nice and early as well. He's kind of the main catalyst we need to really perform well, I think, this year. Because obviously Jamie struggled a lot last year. He really did. He only got 13 in all competitions. I believe it was 9 or 10 in the league, and that was it. Torquay, though, have... Wow, okay, I thought it actually went in the way the ball ricocheted then, but it thankfully went behind. Very, very close there for Torquay early on. Very cagey game to begin with in terms of those match stats. Torquay free kick, though, that's just wide as well. Really not much to see so far. Both teams really cancelling each other out, it would seem. That is for sure. We are having slightly more possession, but other than that, we're not really doing much with it, unfortunately. I am wondering whether or not I bring on Stephen Kinsella and play out and out wingers and try and exploit space on the wings. Oh, that's a really good free kick. Ah, that's a very good free kick from Ben Whitfield there for Torquay. That's unlucky for us. To be fair, they have looked the stronger side of Torquay so far. We haven't seen any highlights from ourselves, unfortunately. And going into half-time, it's very much a Torquay-dominated match. So as a result, I'm going to say I'm disappointed. And I am going to bring on Stephen Kinsella for Justin Amalazor. We're going to go wider. We're going to go overlap on the right-hand side as well. Make Joel Senior a supportive wing-back. I'll say to lads who didn't listen initially, I'm just going to say there's a lot more to come from them. They all agree. So hopefully we can have a better second half. Okay, we've got an early corner to start the half off with. Kinsella's ball in to McGuinness, who has scored. I've put him on that far post position, and him with his 20 jumping reach has come in handy. Get in there, Mark. Scored on your debut, son. Well done. Really, really good heading. He's got 17 heading as well as 20 jumping reach. So you're definitely expecting me to do that, that's for sure. Really, really good. I didn't really bring him in for set piece and so on, but you're going to utilise him when you got a player like that. It's like obviously Liverpool with the likes of Van Dijk. You're always going to try and get the ball on his head from corners and free kicks, that's for sure. Come on. That is a really good start to the second half. Okay, we're now 20 minutes into it. We've not seen anything since the actual highlight. I'm going to say just to go attacking. And do we make a change? Danny Preston is struggling, so let's bring on Chezers for him. And that's only one I'm going to make for the moment. I may take off Jamie Thomas or Maddie Smith in a moment. They're both not playing particularly well. And they're both not overly fit either. Well, we've got a highlight. What's happening here? The Torquay keeper clears it. Unfortunately, we don't win it back. So he's got it out to the left-hand side here. Come on, Joel. Oh, yeah, it is Joel at right back. I got very confused then. I'm thinking I subbed him off for Chezers then, but I wouldn't have done that. That's a really poor clearance. I think that was Oliver Denham's headed clearance. He isn't very good at heading. He only has 8 or 9. That is so poor. Oh, was it Denham's head? Yeah, it was Denham's headed clearance straight out to their player. So poor. Right, as a result, what do we want to do? I'm thinking we'll take off Denham and we'll go 2 up top. Denham off. It can be on. We'll go... Do I want to... I'll go target man. We'll go more direct. We'll counter press. And we'll press even more. We're going to go for this now. We need to risk it. We're losing. I mean, it's not been a bad performance. It hasn't. It's been a very even game. But I think we're just not going to get anything from this, unfortunately. I don't think. Unless there's a late minute goal. No, there's not. Oh, that's disappointing. So we have lost our opening day of the season here away at Torquay. It's not been a bad game. It really hasn't. It's been very even. We just got edged slightly by Torquay. They just took their chances. I'm going to say I can't fault their performance. I don't think we really can. It's quite unlucky that, really. It puts us down into 17th, but it's only one game. It's not the end of the world. Just a bit disappointing to lose it like that, really, especially as it was a mistake by Oliver Denham that cost us. But overall, I'm not too angry with that. I'd say Torquay were in the playoffs last year, so they are a tough side to face, that is for sure. Let's have a look at the schedule and we'll see what we're going to come back for next episode. I'm thinking, of course, as it is our second year now in the Vanarama National, I'm going to play through it a little bit quicker than what we did last year. So I'm thinking I'm going to play all the games in August. Obviously, make any other transfers that we might end up picking up, the likes of possibly Sanderson, etc. And then we'll come back early September and I can then run through with you any of the further changes that I've made. So we'll probably come back for Notts County away and Solihull Moors at home for next episode. So guys, that just about wraps up today's episode, I think. Of course, we've gone through our transfer roundup. We've made a lot of new signings, a lot of new players. It may take some time for those players to bed in. Of course, some new ones still possibly in on the way. At least 1, maybe 2, possibly even 3. Who knows? Have to wait and see quite by next episode how many more I've made. I've got my eye on a few players, of course, that I've already said. There may still be a few more that pop up in the coming weeks as well in game. We'll have to wait and see. But I am very confident, regardless of that defeat that we've just had. It wasn't a poor performance from us. So I'm hoping if we play like that and get a bit more luck and maybe not have quite the same mistakes on the likes of Denham, that we can obviously get wins where we might have lost last year and so on, and or possibly where we had a few draws last year, we can turn those draws into wins, get ourselves into the playoffs. We'll have to wait and see, of course. Hopefully we can go on a bit of a good early run, get some form going, get some good morale, and get some points on the board. Of course, so that'll have to wait until next episode. Hopefully, though, guys, you have enjoyed today's episode. And if you have, please do chuck a like on it. And also let me know down in the comments what you thought of the signings we've made so far, and obviously the ones we may possibly be making. Let me know as well down in the comments any suggestions you may have, because of course I'm open to any. Of course, we're only 2 years in, so there's still a lot of real life players still floating around. And there may be some that I may have missed as well, so do let me know down in the comment section below. And of course, if you are looking forward to seeing more of the series, then do subscribe to the channel to keep up to date with everything Stones Rolling On Up. So guys, thank you very much for watching. I will see you again next time.